surprise, or
I don't know. I don't watch television, so I can't. I don't have a good gauge of. I've never seen a single episode of Claire's show. I know, I only know Robin Wright Penn. Personally, we worked on Breaking and Entering, so of course I don't know. I did see the amount. Like, I was wondering. There's a lot of wonderful. The press over the course of the last couple of months, the press, was instigating me and thinking there was a lot of buzz, and then you start kind of believing the buzz, and then you think, oh, maybe it's possible, But I had been filming The Judge with Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Duvall all summer, and so I didn't campaign for it. I know the studio did it on my behalf, which I'm really grateful for, because I don't know what happened without it. Because you know how it works. It really is. It's political, and I know that I just was busy with my two toddlers and working on that, and then all of a sudden I see Kerry Washington on every cover of every magazine. I think, forget it, it's not going to happen. So when all of a sudden my husband was rooting for me, especially, he knows, he's the one who gets to see me, after a 16, 17-hour day work, come and still try to be present for my own children, and keep Norma Bates out of the equation. And I think so certainly he woke up and watched it on Emmy.com. And right before the category, and this was a tremendous chance that he took, he pulled away the down cover, he got me a cup of coffee, and he said, look! And sure enough, the category came up, and I think my name was third. So, are you kidding me? It's a powerful form of encouragement. It's incredible. Yeah.
So does playing Norma have mess with your head?
No. I'm not that variety. No, I'm a pretty, I'm pretty solid, and on the contrary, I do get exhausted in that way. Of course you do. It's a rigorous role, and it's emotional, and I'm pretty winded at the end of the day. And like I said, it's like my priority, my first role, the biggest role in my life is a real life mother to my toddler. So in that way, no, but not like on a psychotic, no, not in terms of mental health. No.
Like you don't go home and stare them down or anything. So.
Is it also part?
No, it works the opposite though. They deepen my work. I see how my sensibilities, how my decisions shape the children, shape my children, and I see how my decisions. I see some, my love for them, I'm ruled in good ways and bad, and I don't know if my theories are going to be correct until 20 years from now. But the compassion I have for Norma, though, in the work, I think it's deepened my work. The love that I have for my children, and knowing that how do I fix them in ways that I see that I perhaps have contributed to, and as a parent,
Going back
Is
to
that why
baseball.
you're because you've been very not defensive, but you are
Totally
a defender
defensive.
of
Totally
Norma. You are
Yeah.
Norma's fan, and is that because of your own experiences as a mother, or is it just because any character that you play you would want?
I do. I think. Yeah, man, I'm not making a farce here. I really do need to root for her. I need to present a case for her, for you, and because then that would be so. That's what's so wonderful about the viewer, then, to root for these characters, even though you know their demise. And in that, I think it's like watching the best court cases. It's like watching the defense lawyer. I think my research, Jeffrey Dahmer's dad wrote a book in which he talks about the anguish a parent feels in confronting the evil in their children. And there's so many testimonies online. I said in a panel, the first thing I did in research was just type in mothers of psychopaths. And whether it's schizoaffective disorder, schizophrenia, anxiety-induced violence, whether it's the whole broad. I've even gone into, not only the violence, but any kind of neurological dysfunction I've researched. And and I think I have such a, you listen to these testimonies and how frazzled the parents are because you cannot hear, you cannot utter those words. My child has mental illness or mental dysfunction without your spirit just collapsing and imploding. And that is my compassion really. I think I wish I don't have my notes with me, but there are a couple of websites and there are a couple of mothers that that I check into from time to time because it's their diary entries, it's their journaling, and and how they're trying to fix their children. And on top of this scenario is Norma is a single mother, and she comes with her own dysfunction, her own instability, and a lifetime of pain and anger, guilt, regret. And her way is just kind of zipping it up, is sandpacking that dam. And that's why you get these blowouts, because these little fissures here and there, and it's just all of a sudden there's a
She can't take it anymore.
Going back when you were first approached to play this, were you reluctant at some point of going to TV, or?
I wasn't, no, and actually I had called out to the universe. I said to my husband, I said, I think it's because having a 2 and a 4-year-old, I need some sense of stability. And job, certainty, and I just felt like we had been, over the last several years, we're so nomadic that I was yearning for, and my husband and I had met in Vancouver, and I literally called out to the universe. I said, man, Ren, I wish they would just offer me a series that shoots in Vancouver, because we have romantic associations, and it's such a beautiful place to live. 3 days later, this came knocking on my door, and I was skeptical. I said, I was really skeptical of that interdependence to the original. Just like it can go, there's so many ways that can go horribly wrong. But it was very clear from the first 3 pages that the complexity of this female characterization, and I knew that you thank them very much, Carlton and Carrie, and you take it. There's I think also culture. There's been a culture shift too. I think how we watch stories, on personal devices and film, and there's not a stigma anymore, and I don't know. I think I've never got, as long as I'm passionate about what I do, there's just like that. I don't even need to consider like how people see it, how people see the work. As long as I apply myself and there's a certain measure of joy and challenge for me, then I know I'm doing the right thing.
Have you talked to maybe the producers a little bit about the second season and where the arc of Norma might be going? Because it seems like she's starting to recognize one of her sons at least has a dark enough side that she wants to kind of manipulate for her own ends.
I do, and I think that manipulation is really, again, I'll vouch for it, that it's not, she cannot let him grow into dependence or autonomy because he's neurologically dysfunctioning. She can't. So I think season 2, as she is now, I think season 1 was denial. No, he's fine. He's fine. It's just, it's a one-time occurrence. Okay, it's a 2-time occurrence. And I think finally she's registering that he needs help. And I think she wants to fix him. And I think hopefully season 2 will be, my suspicion is it will be about finding those therapeutic venues.
Well, there's a major bombshell for Norma too, and we know that Norma needs help herself, that she's very reluctant to seek out. We've seen that with the therapist.
With Dr. Karate, yeah.
So, and we've heard that in season 2, your brother will come into the show.
Yeah.
What do you expect? How is that going to change the dynamic for Norma and Norman? And
I don't know. I haven't read that episode yet. I haven't read that yet. And it's impending, but I'm curious myself to see how that will approach.
And do you think
I don't know. I'm so fascinated to see how that will play out. I have a lot of question marks about this. I don't know. And I've had a lot of ideas for Carlton, but it's that relationship that really beguiles me. That I'm so curious to see how that plays out.
Will Norma ever be able to find the help for herself that she needs to?
Look, I think given her ultimate demise, I don't think she can ever gain a certain amount of like complete self-awareness and holism. I think I would like for her to get really close, and I think to a point where, but again, it's like, and maybe she does. Who knows? Maybe she does. Maybe, but ultimately, I mean, we know how she ends up, so we got to get her there.
You said you have a lot of ideas for her, and do you talk to Colton about it?
Yeah, I text him all the time. My husband does too. My husband has the best ideas, and I just literally fork them over to him, and he. I do, and they've utilized pretty much all of them. And if they don't do it this season, they'll wait a season or two if it's something really big. But I love that collaboration, and it takes a good 4 or 5 episodes for everybody to feel comfortable in their own skin, but then it becomes this living, breathing thing. And the writers start writing for the actors' fortes, and the actors get confident in themselves and in their characters. You know how your character moves through space, and I think it becomes a real collaborative thing. If everyone's open to it, certainly Carlton.
All right, thank you.